We are in the scruffy city this afternoon for a matinee kickoff between two red-hot sides in the top four of USL League One. A one-knock side looking to continue its resurgence under interim headman Ilya Ilic against a Charlotte side with Players' Shield aspirations on its mind. And we welcome you inside Regal Soccer Stadium. Here is your look at the current state of USL League One presented by PYA. Right now, One Knox is currently in the top four, winning 2 of 3 under Ilya Ilic. Charlotte occupying the top spot, unbeaten in its last 10 in all competitions. Well, speaking of One Knox, despite all of the off-field turmoil in the last month, they have still performed on the pitch. You see the record on your screen. They've not lost a match since late June, and what's been most impressive about them is under their interim head coach Ilya Ilic, they've scored 6 goals in 3 matches, a side known for its defense that has stepped it up going forward. And it is also a side that has had Charlotte's number in their 4 meetings. They've not suffered a defeat against the Jacks, and that includes their 2-1 victory over Charlotte to open the season at American Legion on March 16th. A game in which both coaches said, look, we can't take a lot from that. It was a learning experience, but at the end of the day, Knoxville got the result, and Charlotte still has not found a way to triumph against their foes in Tennessee. We'll see if that changes tonight. Knoxville certainly hoping it does not. On the subject of Charlotte, we've already mentioned their form. 6 wins in the last 10, unbeaten since June 19th, and that's been in big part due to a defense that has frankly gone into complete form. They've not conceded a goal in the last 350 minutes. We all know about the attack, an attack that has scored the second most goals in the league, but defensively is why they've been able to continue this surge up the table. Now, on the subject of that attack, they will have to do it tonight without the league's golden boot leader, J.C. Obregon Jr., a man who scored over 40% of their goals. He's on international duty with Honduras. And so the page flips. Who will step up in Obregon's absence? How about Gabriel Obertan, the former Premier League mainstay, who's second in the league in assists and frankly is the creative mastermind for this Charlotte side. He's going to have to be on his game with a younger and more inexperienced stable of forwards around him. It's a Charlotte side undergoing a bit of turnover between last week and this one. Obertan, though, is the centerpiece of everything for the Jacks. We are just about set for kickoff between two sides with championship aspirations in USL League One. Will One Knox continue its surge under Ilya Ilic, or will Charlotte solidify sole possession of first place in the table? Find out next on ESPN Plus, lineups and kickoffs when we return from Knoxville.
The other day, my daughter was like, "Dad, what happened to the internet? It's so fast." For the first time in years, it's like, we connected.
What?
The KUB Fiber Effect. See when it's coming to you at KUB.org.
The all-new Volkswagen ID4 SUV is truly something to behold. On the outside, clean aerodynamic lines. On the inside, plenty of room with a spacious, comfortable cabin. It will transform how you think about electric cars. Now available at Harper Volkswagen and at harpervolkswagen.com.
And we welcome you back here at Regal Soccer Stadium in Knoxville. Just about set for kickoff between two of the top 4 teams in the USL League One table, One Knox and Charlotte. On the subject of One Knox, tonight's starting 11 is brought to you by KUB Fiber, the fastest internet in the world. 8 changes from their 1-0 victory at Tormenta on Sunday in their Jaeger Cup finale. No surprise, all of the big guns re-enter the fray. Look out for Kempis Tequila up front, tied for second in the league in goals with 8. And Sean Lewis, one of the best goalkeepers in the league between the sticks, as per usual. On the other side of things for Charlotte, it is a slightly more similar lineup to their last one. Remember, they were playing for something in the Jaeger Cup, but Mike Jeffries has been forced into 2 changes further up the pitch. Nelson Pierre replacing Obregon on international duty, and Dustin Correa, the hero of their Jaeger Cup victory over Greenville last Friday, slotting into the side. Also Shalom Duty replacing Anton Sorensen, who is suspended with his red card tonight at left back. Those are your 3 changes from Charlotte as we are just about set for kickoff from Regal Soccer Stadium. A terrific atmosphere, one of the best pitches in the league, the home of the Tennessee Lady Volunteers in Knoxville. It's the second year of this One Knox club, and it has already garnered terrific support throughout the local community. A community start for professional soccer. It has now received it, and in the second year, this One Knox club making major noise on a playoff push. Nelson Pierre is hoping he can continue Charlotte's push for the Player Shield, making his first start as a member of the Jacks in place of J.C. Obregon Jr. We await the referee's signal. The second meeting of the year between One Knox and Charlotte, with major top 4 implications here in match week 19. Knoxville is in the blue with the orange trim going from right to left. Charlotte in the white with navy blue numbers going left to right. And underway here from the scruffy city of Knoxville, One Knox and Charlotte tussling for the second and final time this year. We welcome you inside Regal Soccer Stadium. Sam Goldfarb here, bringing you all of the action tonight between 2 teams in the best bouts of form throughout all of USL League One, a combined 19 matches unbeaten between the 2. It should make for a very intriguing clash here in the league this week. Haugley is looking long for the new signing, Stavros Sarakostas, who outwits JJ and, well, committed a transgression in the process. Robbed of an early opportunity by the official. The call didn't seem to garner too much protest from the crowd. It was certainly a bit of light contact in the area. For One Knox, we've touched on the form. Aside that, despite all of the turmoil it faced midway through last month, the day before the Smoky Mountain Smackdown, the dismissal of longtime headman Mark McKeever announced. His longtime forward and assistant, Ilya Illich, replacing him on an interim basis. And while they've had plenty of success, 2 wins in his first 3 matches at the helm, and as we mentioned off the top, the goal scoring, something that was much maligned for the bulk of the season, ticked up considerably with the introduction of Illich to the fold. It's made for a One Knox side with new life heading into the home stretch of this League One campaign. An early challenge, and Sarakostas may be penalized for this tackle on Ryan JJ. Here is Shalom Duty, his first touch as a starter this season. He's fallen out of the lineup after being a regular starter at center back last season for the reigning runners-up. Very skilled and in his prime at 26 years of age. Sis. You can expect a lot of this tonight. It is a one-knock side still predicated on its defensive solidity. The best defense in the league with just 11 goals allowed all season in 14 of their league matches. They play a 5 at the back, which means they are far more counter-heavy, especially against a Charlotte team that they are going to want to make possess the ball, because Charlotte themselves are much better on the counter. So it presents an interesting clash in the sense that Charlotte is forced to be the aggressor a bit more tonight, despite often thriving against sides that take the fight to them. Duty. And here is Dustin Correa, last week's hero. It's clever interplay, and Joel Johnson is brought down just outside the area. An appetizing set-piece position for Charlotte early on. Speaking of heroes, there is the hero from last week's Jaeger Cup victory for Knoxville. Jordan Skelton scoring off a corner in the 18th minute to help them end their Jägermeister Cup campaign on a high. Charlotte, of course, advancing to the semifinals, winning the East Group. Knoxville not as fortunate. They were behind Madison and Lexington in the standings. All sights now on the league for the lads from the Scruffy City. It's Joel Johnson and Gabriel Oberton linger in this free kick. Johnson tries. It was not a bad hit, but one that was directly at Sean Lewis. The man who boasts the second most clean sheets in all of USL League One. It had ferocity to this, but not enough whip, and Lewis at the near post does more than enough to take the sting out of it. Who has 7 years of USL Championship experience, and last season etched his name amongst the league's best keepers. Himself and Austin Pack, arguably the 2 best goalkeepers in all of USL League One, although Rashid Nuhu at Omaha would likely like a word in that conversation as well. Hougley ushering it along to Stuart Ritchie, one of the more dynamic wingbacks in the league. On the other side, they face a Charlotte team that, as we've mentioned, in pursuit of its first ever Players' Shield. A team unbeaten in its last 10. Mike Jeffrey still finds areas for improvement, though. Felt the performance last week was lukewarm for long spells. Granted, it was a very awkward matchup with Greenville. A 1-0 victory in which Dustin Correa was the late hero. But in that match, a red card either way. Second yellows for Rodrigo Robles in the first half. And Mike Jeffrey said he felt his side didn't really manage the 14 minutes when they were up a man very well. But then Anton Sorensen got his second yellow card early after the restart. And from there, things got very wild. Mike Jeffrey said he felt the side managed better at even strength, and ultimately Correa was the late hero. But it was a match shrouded in controversy for a number of reasons. The referee was not shy about procuring yellow cards, and that decision certainly affected the run of play. Mike Jeffrey said as much in our pre-match call this week. In games like that, it's about grinding out a result, and that Charlotte did. Now the question is, can they end their duck against Knoxville? Zarakostas. Here's Danny Fernandez, the longtime Knoxville man. He's been with them since their USL 2 days. Team embarking on just its second professional campaign in League One. Last season ending shy of the postseason. This year they seem destined for a playoff berth with 7 matches remaining. There's the foray forward from Zarakostas. Runs out of real estate and clatters into the sponsorship sign by the goal. There is your look at one of the newer signings for Knoxville. 26 years of age, Stavros Zarakostas, joining out of the Greek second tier. But a familiar face in the American game, was a star at Rhode Island in the late 2010s. Got off to a flyer in just his 3rd match with One Knox. The first match after the departure of Mark McKeever. Had a goal and an assist in that Smoky Mountain smackdown of Chattanooga Red Wolves. A match that lived up to its namesake for one side at least. Oberton, a loose ball that finds the feet of Ritchie. And darting down the near side. Room to cross, cutting it back for Tequila. Falls for Callum Johnson. Routine in the end from Austin Pack, but early promise from One Knox. Well, here's the first proper chance of the night for Knoxville. It's laid off routinely. Some decent curl to it, but Pack saw it all the way, and it was always going to take much more to beat him from that distance. Here's Correa. Surging ahead. Runs out of support. Just over 10 minutes gone from Regal Soccer Stadium. A slow start for both sides. It's got an aura of caginess, this. Of course, Charlotte, without their top scorer, the man who has produced over 40% of their goals. And they are a side that has been very tough to break down of late. They've not conceded for the better part of the last 4 matches, in fact. And One Knox is always known for its security at the back. So the question is, can anyone unlock these obdurate back lines? And that is what would open this game up, especially with neither team wanting to throw away points in the opening 20 minutes. One back by Njai. And here is Correa. The referee will stop the build after Pierre went to the deck. Jordan Skelton committing the transgression, the captain for One Knox. Leading this back five today, right in the heart of defense. It's a back line that, as we mentioned, just 11 goals conceded all year in league play. This is a team that rarely is punctured for one, let alone multiple goals in a match. Charlotte broke them once in the season opener on March 16th when they last met. But they struggled to find success going forward. Well, it's time for the injury report presented by UT Medical. No injuries reported at all for One Knox. The only absence is Innocent Nshuti on international duty with the Rwandan national team. So it's a full complement of players for Ilya Illich, which I'm sure is a welcome sight given all of the early injury trouble in the opening stages of the year to the likes of Frank Ross and even Kempis Tequila for part of the year. Angelo Kelly also battled some issues, but he's on the bench tonight. Well, there is your look at Shalom duty. We mentioned a mainstay last year in the heart of defense. It's been called upon in Anton Sorensen's red card absence today, and playing slightly out of position at left back. But it is a next man up mentality for a Charlotte squad that is in a rare bout of squad turnover entering this big time league clash this weekend. Set piece here for One Knox. Tequila standing over it. Floats it to the back post. And Duty will usher it out of play for a goal kick. Fernandez. There is Rodolfo Castro, the former Earthquakes 2 man who lit up the score sheets a few years back in Next Pro. We are beyond the quarter of an hour mark. Still nothing to separate these two sides. In fact, chances have been at a premium tonight, to be expected between two of the best defenses in USL League One. A Charlotte team that has not conceded now in the last 366 minutes. That dates back to their 2-1 Jägermeister Cup victory over Greenville on August 10th. It has been nearly a month since they last shipped a goal. Meanwhile, One Knox themselves pretty sound defensively. Conceded just twice in the last 5 matches. Tequila. This is Castro, who's outwit by Ryan JJ. Correa's unable to find Nelson Pierre streaking forward. Callum Johnson. A rare foray forward for Haukley. Haukley. Can't quite pick out Richie. Correa looking for options ahead. One of two new additions for Charlotte this summer that has immediately worked his way into the side. Mike Jeffries says the second he found out he was available, it took him less than 24 hours to draw up a contract. A player that he has had his eyes on for quite some time. And was thrilled to get him in the fold when he became available at the tail end of July. Charlotte team that has proven quite attractive for many of the top talents, both in USL League One and also throughout the Central American footballing ranks. The likes of Correa and Luis Alvarez joining from Honduran sides. This is one back by Thomas. And some options ahead. Castro darting it wide for Stuart Ritchie with plenty of room to cross this. First time ball through the back stick, loose in the area. Zarakostas onto it. Charged away in the end by Joel Johnson. Charlotte able to clear their lines for the time being. Rapidly approaching the 20-minute mark here from the scruffy city. One of the best venues in terms of playing surface you will find in USL League One. Regal Soccer Stadium, the home of Tennessee's Lady Volunteers. A rare 4:30 Eastern kickoff, but temperatures are great here in Knoxville at this current moment. Right now, 77 degrees and sunny. It's perfect early September footballing weather. And I'm sure the lads from Charlotte are a little bit relieved because this time of year in the Queen City, it is at least 85 plus and humid for the most part. A quality respite from the sweltering heat of the south as you approach the Smoky Mountains near Knoxville. Oberton finds Dimmick. And unable to craftily win his side of corner. One back by JJ. Duday. Oberton, former Premier League regular, spending his time with Manchester United and better known for his Newcastle United days. It's the highest level football on the planet, that. Fernandez. It's a progressive ball to Ritchie, a defense-splitting pass. Cuts it across, and unable to pick out Tequila waiting in the area. May have overcooked it a touch, and Zarakostas was late to run onto it. It's cleared only as far as Thomas. A lovely switch of the play to Ritchie. Former Players' Shield winner himself with the Richmond Kickers. Still looking for that first clear-cut opportunity for either of these two sides. Both have sniffed around the penalty area, more so Knoxville than Charlotte. But neither creating anything of note just yet. Castro. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Midway through the first half, here at Regal Soccer Stadium, One Knox has bossed the possession, but have been unable to unlock a surprisingly stout Charlotte back line of late. Team that dealt with its troubles defensively in the early stages of this season. Those have been rectified, and Mike Jeffrey's side has gotten back to its defensively solid roots. Zarakostas, Castro. It falls for Zarakostas again. Stabbed away by Dude. And back by Haugley. Excellent link up. Is nearly a crafty defense-splitting pass. And Oberton onto it the other way. Numbers in support. An overzealous challenge on Danny Fernandez. Well, there is a man that oozes class. Third consecutive season with the Jacks. Has played throughout the highest levels of Europe. Champions League, Europa League, you name it, he's probably featured in it. Of course, with Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson, a couple Premier League trophies in his cabinet before making the move to Newcastle United. Was a regular there for the bulk of the 2010s. And ultimately made his way throughout other nations in Europe. Took his talents to the Turkish Super League before eventually moving to Charlotte. Ritchie linking well with Zarakostas. And here is Zarakostas. Flag was raised on the near side anyway. Haugley, the former Virginia Tech Hokie. One of many former MLS Super Draft picks. He himself was picked 83rd by Portland in 2022. Spent some time with the Timbers 2 side back during their USL Championship days. Now a regular for One Knox. Correa. You have to wonder how long the cagey tenor of this contest persists. Remember, both these teams have etched their names at the moment in the top four. For Knoxville, it's a little more gridlocked towards the middle of those playoff spots. But 3 points today would go a long way to solidifying that, as Tequila manages to stay onside. It falls for Castro. Thomas. Floating cross. Zarakostas. Knoxville twisting the screws. Castro from afar. That won't trouble Alston Pack by any means. the reigning USL League One goalkeeper of the year. Set the league record for single season saves a year ago and has already made 62 this year. That's good for second in the league this season. It's a Charlotte team that lets him absorb pressure, and he's handled it well. Here's the cross from Thomas. It nearly fell kindly for Tequila. Cleared only as far as Jordan Skelton. Haugley. Tequila. Clever work out of the tight spaces from Charlotte. This is Dustin Correa, and who has quickly found the back of the net in his first few matches with the club. We've seen him get involved. The question is when the 19-year-old Nelson Pierre will get any service of note. A Charlotte team that has been pinned deep for the bulk of this opening half hour. This is Joel Johnson. Oberton. Here is Gabriel Oberton, ushering it wide to Bashir Njai. Regular alongside Omar Sis of late in that two-man pivot. Dimmick. Flag stays down for the time being. What can Charlotte conjure in this rare foray forward? Dimmick was looking for the run of Correa. Not only as far as Njai. Oberton is clattered to the deck, and the referee's unmoved by his appeals. The USL Jägermeister Cup knockouts kick off on Wednesday, September 11th. 2-seed Forward Madison hosts 3-seed Charlotte Independence at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by top seed Northern Colorado Hailstorm facing 4th seed Union Omaha at 9 p.m. Eastern, all on ESPN+. The Jägermeister Cup group stage finishing up last week. Both these sides a pair of 1-0 victories. And for Charlotte, they are rewarded with that trip to Breese Stevens Field. What an atmosphere that will be at the midweek. Meanwhile, in the other matchup, it's an interesting one. Northern Colorado, a little Jekyll and Hyde in terms of goal scoring in the league, although they've started to find their footing in USL League One play. They scored the most goals in the Jägermeister Cup with 22 through 8 matches. It's a tough go for Union Omaha, especially away from home, but you figure Omaha would be given a decent chance by a lot of neutrals. It'll be very interesting to see who books a date in the final. Oberton plays that one to nobody on the far side. Well, that man has not had much to do, Sean Lewis. Although when called upon this season, he has been terrific as well as he was last year. And the coaching staff raves about him, says it's small margins when you get to this level of goalkeeper at such a high professional standard. But Sean Lewis does all the little things right. And a terrific leader at the back, someone who's been a regular in the 11 since joining the club ahead of last year, their inaugural professional campaign. Beginning to establish now a brand around the Knoxville area, and you see the fans come out in full support. It's on the campus, of course, of the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, so a lot of students can come out as well. It makes for a terrific communal atmosphere. for a town that loves its soccer, as evidenced by the Tennessee Lady Volunteers' terrific turnout on this very ground for years before One Knox's foundation. Now they enter a new chapter under Ilya Illich, one that has gotten off to a positive start with an infusion of goal scoring that was unforeseen prior to Mark McKeever's departure. Haugley linking with Zarakostas, goes down just outside the area. Ryan JJ is surprised, to say the least. He may get off with just a talking to here. It's a late challenge, and he does slash his boot across Zarakostas. Pretty textbook set piece. Now the question is, can One Knox find a way to unlock this Charlotte defense before halftime? With the way this match has unfolded, set pieces could prove pivotal. It's James Thomas, the former USL League Two man, standing over it. Arcs it toward the back post. Far too tight on Pack, and no one able to greet it anyways. A man who made his name at Des Moines Menace under Mark McKeever before following him to Knoxville. He's been a regular in the lineup this season, irrespective of whoever's been at the helm. Well, Thomas and Ritchie are two of the more exciting wingbacks in the league, especially Ritchie. Charlotte's done a good job recovering in transition moments, which has been a big point of emphasis all year for Mike Jeffries in terms of the movement to curb opposing goals. One that has been very successful when you look at the numbers, which we have already hammered ad nauseum here in this first half. Dimmick. Duty. Looking for Oberton, who's been a marked man all half. Very little space to operate as far as he's been concerned. Fernandez. Tequila. Speaking of men who have had very little room to operate, he may be the prime suspect in that category. And who produces goals in really bunches and has scored 3 in the last 2 entering today. His return to the side after sitting Sunday has been a quiet one, to date at least. Coming together between Tequila and Njai, and the whistle sounds against the former. Well, there is the league's second top scorer, Tequila. So far, frustration has categorized the day for him. You know, it's incidental, and if anything, Njai is the one who impedes Tequila. But the Charlotte man gets off scot-free in that interchange. Business end of this first half. One that has been categorized by a lack of clear-cut opportunities. This is headed back, and Lewis has to at least exert effort to prevent a corner. Mind you, as an indicator for how this match is unfolded, no corners for either side so far. There have been an occasional shot on target from afar. The penalty areas have been heavily populated for both sets of forwards. And for Charlotte, they've rarely ventured into the Knoxville penalty area. A team that has played to its desired style of absorbing pressure and is just looking for room to counter. Here's Ritchie. Crosses it to the back stick. It's headed away by Duty. And now trying to charge it out of trouble. Oberton. Referee plays advantage. Correa. This is the captain, Clay Dimmick. Sis. Joel Johnson, the all-time appearances leader for Charlotte. It's an adventurous ball, one that is claimed routinely by Lewis. We trudge towards the 40-minute threshold. And right now the question is who provides an infusion of final third brilliance? Organization and solidity at the back has been the name of the day so far. Castro. Haugley. Looking to switch for Richie. It's read well by Clay Dimmick. And looking ahead for Nelson Pierre. A new addition to the bunch. Taking a tumble. It's taken quickly. Dimmick. Can't quite switch the play to Oberton. Cleared only as far as Dimmick, though. Gabriel Oberton. Charged out of danger, and it falls nicely for Tequila. Has support from Zara Costas. And a crunching challenge from JJ. One that was timed brilliantly. Correa. Here's Joel Johnson. Oberton. For a forward from Duty. Deflected out for Charlotte's first corner of the match. And how about this? The first corner of the match for either side, 41 minutes in. It'll be Joel Johnson to take the first corner of the match for either side. With in-swing at that. Is there a final bit of magic here before the half? It's taken near post and stabbed away without very much trouble from Richie. Correa. Oberton from afar. Deflects. Falls kindly to Spielman. He wants to take on defenders himself. Njai, back post. Punched away. Falls to Correa. Oberton tries again, and it's a sensational strike. Oberton has stunned Knoxville and breaks the deadlock in the 42nd. Persistence rewarded, and the first major chance for Charlotte clatters into the back of the net. Well, there it is for Charlotte. Persistence in the penalty area. So many efforts blocked. Stalwart defensive line, but the second deflection falls so nicely for Gabriel Oberton, and he makes no mistake. It was a decent block there from what looked to be Chrysler, but the follow-up, a missile into the back of the net. And Charlotte against the grain with the lead. Well, we've mentioned the class that comes off the boots of Gabriel Oberton. A third league goal of the season for the 35-year-old, and a Charlotte team that is so thankful that he has been available for far more fixtures throughout the year. Never really got uncorked until mid-August of last season due to nagging injuries. He's been a regular off the bat for Charlotte this year. At the right place at the right time, and takes his chance with aplomb. Overton in the 42nd, it's 1-0 Charlotte, as that goes out of play for an Austin Pack goal kick. Fans, USL Championship soccer continues on the ESPN networks in September with a matchup of the top teams from the Eastern Conference. Detroit City FC takes on Players Shield leader Louisville City FC in a Sunday afternoon clash, September 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Closing stages of the first half, and on the subject of Players Shield's leaders, one is in this match, and they are leading, courtesy of Gabriel Oberton's 42nd minute strike. Charlotte with their first legitimate opportunity of the match, and it is dispatched with ferocity by their talisman in the center of the park. Hearing word it'll be 1 minute of stoppage time. And as things stand, a Knoxville side that lost the possession but with very little cutting edge has paid the price for that lack of final third incision. Because on the first set piece of the match, as an indirect byproduct, Gabriel Oberton bashing it into the back of the net at the second time of asking. Charlotte's first and really only opportunity of note in this half. Fans, the referee has indicated a minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time presented by University Family Physicians, your experts in primary care in East Tennessee. As things stand, Ilya Illich's bunch has quite a few considerations to discuss at halftime. By no means a poor performance, but one in which, despite all of their possession, they really produced nothing of trouble for Austin Pack. Wasn't a spectator, didn't have to make a couple stops, but nothing really troublesome. And there is the halftime whistle. A first half in which chances were at a premium, but Charlotte takes the halftime lead, courtesy of the lake strike from Gabriel Oberton, the former Premier League man showing his class at a crucial moment, and with Charlotte's only chance of the match, they have a 1-0 advantage. That's where we stand at halftime. The Players Shield leaders with a 1-0 cushion over 1 Knox, despite the home side's dominance in possession. Ilya Illich's bunch in need of some regrouping at intermission. Charlotte looking to secure a massive win over a top 4 foe. We'll step aside on ESPN Plus when we return a look around USL League One.
Well, kids, our lives are going to be different now. It was part of our family for so long. This is just part of growing up.
Honestly, I'm kind of glad to see it go.
Yeah, me too. Let's go inside. It is muggy out here.
Say goodbye to the loading bar and say hello to KUB Fiber. With up to 10 gig speed, it could be the end of waiting as we know it. The world's fastest internet, only from KUB.
Backyard staycations begin with Earthadelic, transforming outdoor spaces into your own relaxing oasis. From custom design to superior installation, our team is dedicated to providing the highest level of quality and craftsmanship with every one-of-a-kind project. Earthadelic offers stunning, resort-worthy outdoor living that will be uniquely suited for your home, delivering a complete turnkey work of art in your backyard. Earthadelic, surpassing expectations and creating the outdoor paradise you've always dreamed of. Contact us today to schedule your consultation.
We welcome you back here from the Scruffy City, where Charlotte leads 1-0 over 1 Knox at halftime. It was a busy match week 18 in USL League One. Let's take a look at the standout moments.
On the goal line, he'll knock it home in the end. In the right place at the right time for the 8th goal of the season in the USL League One for Campus Tequila. The pipes for Knoxville. Scooped forward by Waldeck. Longmire, the header at the back post, and he finds the back of the net. A great set piece from Spokane, and they find the equalizer.
Luis Alvarez. Flicked up in front of goal and into the roof of the net. Bounding in for the breakthrough, it's Clay Dimmick. Goes Belmar. Spot Sis, Omar Sis! Omar Sis with a sizzling strike. Launch forward, Sorensen cut in. On by Johnson, off by Obergon. Correa. Still Dustin Correa, what a save! And then knocked in for good measure.
Playing the ball in behind. This is Sharif J. Knight makes the stop. Danger still present. Another incredible save. Lexington with excellent form as of late.
Fans still filing into Warner Park. Very large facility for the league standards. There's some slippage, and it finds the back of the net. A brutal mistake. It's a progressive ball, and down in the box, an immediate point to the spot. Textbook. Gallardo appeared through. And Gallardo delivers. Gallardo takes a deflection off the wall, and it finds its way in. The killer blow for Omaha. 3 goals for 3 points.
So good in front of him. There's some changes down again. Here's Martinez. He's got the other side of the Greenville defense. Beats Garner and finds the back of the net. It's 1-0 Noco in the 5th minute. Real Gill, the man from Trinidad. He's important to sign him. He might not need him. Real Gill with the left foot, and it's 2-0. Tracking back. Across towards the far post, and that's 3-0. It's too easy for Ethan Horde. Left unmarked at the far post, and he makes the triumph pay.
Well, that's where we stand at halftime. A great look at match week 18. It's 1-0 Charlotte, courtesy of Gabriel Oberton's 42nd minute strike. We're going to step aside when we come back to look around USL League One.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it. This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
New flavors, the same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador, spiked bebidas.
Beautifully done, Pino! My goodness! 2-0 for Birmingham.
Worth takes it.
Oh, and it's in! Nate Worth with a moment of brilliance.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
We welcome you back to Regal Soccer Stadium, where Charlotte, the league leaders, hold a 1-0 lead over Knoxville here in Knoxville. Let's take a look around USL League One. A ton of news and notes throughout the competition. And on the subject of USL League One, how about JC Obregon, the Honduran international, joining 30 players from across the USL ranks on international duty, one of the few League One selections in the Nations League. Meanwhile, Darren Powell is the League One Coach of the Month for August, leading Lexington into playoff contention with their first ever unbeaten month. And finally, Ethan Horde, the August Player of the Month, 2 goals and 1 assist for the former trialist that has been the breakout star of the year for Northern Colorado Hailstorm. Speaking of USL League One's Team of the Week, how about we jump into that? And Ethan Horde is on it, leading the line. Kempis Tequila also there after scoring in last match week against Spokane. He is the only representative for Knoxville. There are 3 for Charlotte: Clay Dimmick, Austin Pack, and Anton Sorensen all there. The Player of the Week, Joe Gallardo, after a brace against Richmond in that 3-0 thrashing of the Kickers to continue their Players' Shield push. That's what we have for you. Let's take a look at the Match Week 19 scores. This is the second game of the Match Week. Union Omaha falling at Spokane with an opportunity to climb atop the table. That opens the door for Charlotte to solidify their grip on first place if the current result holds. And then later on tonight, we've got a bevy of matches. Spokane hosting Central Valley, and then Northern Colorado also hosting Lexington in our 2 nightcaps for Match Week 19. The schedule also is a busy one. The Barrel Brawl is on deck for One Knox next time out on Friday at Lexington. Meanwhile, a regional clash for Charlotte. They return to American Legion to host Richmond Kickers. And then later on in the match week, Spokane, another home match. And Northern Colorado and Omaha, they're playing twice this week, both the Jaeger Cup and that one. So a busy week for those 2 teams here in USL League One. Well, here at halftime, it's still a 1-0 advantage for Charlotte Independence over One Knox. Just the Oberton goal separating the 2 teams. We will step aside when we return. Some stats and highlights from that first half.
KUB Fiber. It's the fastest internet in the world.
Seriously?
Seriously. Up to 10 gig speed with no contracts and no hidden fees. Let's see the other guys try to match that. the world's fastest internet, only from KUB.
The all-new Volkswagen ID4 SUV is truly something to behold. On the outside, clean aerodynamic lines. On the inside, plenty of room with a spacious, comfortable cabin. It will transform how you think about electric cars. Now available at Harper Volkswagen and at harpervolkswagen.com.
We welcome you back to Knoxville, where at halftime, the league-leading Charlotte Independence holds a 1-0 lead over a Knoxville side that has a 9-match unbeaten run hanging in the balance. And speaking of that first half, how about we take a look back at the standout moments from the 45 minutes we just witnessed. It was a cagey affair. Chances were at a premium. Joel Johnson trying from this free kick. This was the only real involvement for Sean Lewis before the opener, and then Knoxville began to push on forward. Stuart Ritchie created some havoc down that left side. This long-range effort from Callum Johnson, decent technique, not much trouble for Austin Pack. And then they continued to twist the screws a bit. A lot of the action was played just outside the area. Castro trying from afar. It bounced routinely to Austin Pack. And then finally, our opener came in the 42nd minute after the first corner of the match. The first cross deflected out of trouble. Correa's effort pinging free to Gabriel Oberton. And at the second time of asking, a thunderbolt into the back of the net to put Charlotte in front on the stroke of halftime. Their only glaring opportunity of the half, but they take a 1-0 lead entering intermission. Well, let's take a look at some of the first half stats to take a greater picture of what transpired in the opening 45 minutes. They do tell the story of a half where there were a few chances, just 4 total shots on target. How about this? 1 corner kick in the entirety of that first half. We are still waiting on our first Knoxville corner kick of the match. That's how much they've struggled to get anything going in the final third, despite their possessional dominance, which is reflected on the numbers. A near 20% gap between the two teams. But we know Charlotte excels on the counter. They're not shy about wanting to play out of possession. And right now it's been a smash and grab to date through 45 minutes for the Jacks. We are just about set to get things back underway here from Knoxville, where the home side undoubtedly had a stern talking to from their interim headman, Ilya Illich, at intermission. Right now, a 9-match unbeaten run for them hangs in the balance, and a potential to knife the deficit between themselves and Charlotte to a mere point. With a win today, they would have headed second. But as things stand, this Charlotte side, despite a first half in which they were far from at their best, is in line to go 5 points clear, their largest gap atop the League One table. Now, they have 45 minutes more to see things out, and no doubt Knoxville will be forcing the issue far more than they did in that first half. But right now, the league leaders sit in the catbird seat as we head into the home stretch of the USL League One campaign. Well, will it be Charlotte's day once again, or will Knoxville find a way to redefine the scoreline? Find out in the final 45 minutes of this crucial contest between top 4 foes. We welcome you back into Regal Soccer Stadium. Sam Goldfarb taking you every step of the way tonight. As things stand, it's an Oberton 42nd minute wonder strike, which separates these two sides. Although Knoxville was definitely the aggressor in that first half. We're going now left to right on your screen. Charlotte from right to left. It is a Charlotte side that has been known for its ability to absorb pressure, especially of late. Mike Jeffries constructs a defensively sound side with regularity throughout his 6-year tenure with the club. It's his second stint now. Has pretty much coached all but 6 months of Charlotte's decade-long existence. And last season guiding them to the precipice of their first ever League One title, falling in penalties to North Carolina FC, their Dogwood Derby rivals, which have made the leap to the championship this offseason. In talking to Mike Jeffries, he's mentioned, yes, the Players' Shield is a goal, yes, the league title is a goal, but for us, it is 1 week at a time. We cannot lose sight of the micro in the face of the macro. And it's been an important note he's relayed to his lads since the start of the preseason. It's a strategy that, when you look at the run of results, has looked pretty good in hindsight. As Pierre is penalized for his overzealous challenge. Right now, Charlotte rapidly approaching 400 minutes in all competitions without conceding. And it would be a month if they can get through these 90 minutes with a clean sheet. They don't play again next until Wednesday in the semifinals of the Jägermeister Cup. A road clash at Ford Madison. A team they only played about a couple weeks ago. A scoreless draw at Bree Stevens on August 14th. Fernandez picking out Richie. An arcing cross, it's not a bad one. And it falls. Thomas lashing at it, and Pack doing enough despite seeing it late. That's the first proper save he's had to make today. A couple of tame efforts. That's the first one with any real ferocity from Knoxville. Spielman's unable to clear this, and James Thomas has a good crack at this despite really working from a tough angle. Pack was attuned to it though. Johnson. We have to wonder how Ilya Illich manages a situation like this. It's the first time that the side has trailed under his tutelage. Entered today outscoring foes 6-2, and in his first match in charge, they throttled Chattanooga. We're up 3-0 in 25 minutes. So he's not faced any adversity yet as a head coach. The interim head man forced to navigate his side back from their first deficit in his 4th match in charge. A man who began his coaching career as an assistant in February after retiring from professional football following last season with Knoxville. Found the back of the net 5 times for the lads from the Scruffy City in their inaugural season. So much USL Championship experience to his name as well, and his history with the previous head coach dates back to his college days when he played for Mark McKeever at Young Harris, a Division II institution that has rapidly become one of the better programs in the nation at that level. Here's the goal scorer, Oberton. And it falls for Sis. Oberton again, crossing to the back post. Was in a dangerous area for Correa, but Lewis read it brilliantly. Not a bad interplay. Perhaps the wide ball to Oberton took the steam out of it, but it was not a poorly weighted pass by any regard. Good read from Lewis to prevent anything proper from materializing. If you're just rejoining us on ESPN Plus, we welcome you into Regal Soccer Stadium here in Knoxville, Tennessee, on the campus of University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action tonight. A 1-0 advantage for Charlotte, courtesy of Gabriel Obertson. 42nd minute, bolt into the back of the net. And finally, Knoxville has won its first corner of the night. Fans, this corner kick is brought to you by University Orthopedic Surgeons, the official orthopedic surgeons for 1 Knoxville SC. The first corner kick of the night for 1 Knox. Tequila delivering. Crossed, it's loose! Somehow doesn't trickle over the line. Zarakostas, and drawing the referee's ire at the second time of asking. What a chance this is. Across from Tequila, the flick on from Zarakostas, and Richie nearly got his dome to it as well. And somehow, crisis averted for Charlotte. That had all of the markings of an equalizer. But Charlotte remaining secure defensively for the time being. A goal drought that has just crossed the 400, or goalless streak that has crossed the 400-minute threshold for that defense. And it remains intact by the skin of the Jacks' teeth. Well, Haugley is down, and Bashir Njai is receiving a talking to from the lead official. Hearing word he did receive a yellow card for that challenge. So the first man in the book for Charlotte tonight is Njai. And Knoxville with an appetizing set piece. Here's a look at what transpired. Late challenge. You can see why maybe he's a little irked by the decision. But either way, first man in the book for the Jacks. And now a Charlotte man is down in the area. It appears to be Nelson Pierre, the man leading the line today for Charlotte. And that it is, the 19-year-old loanee from Philadelphia Union. May have taken a heavy challenge on the set piece. See all the heads go up. Oh, and it's a funny landing on the way down. There was no clash of heads, but it's one that has left him prone on the deck for a prolonged period of time. Seems to be content to continue. Joining the club on August 14th. Scored in the last league game to polish off the 4-0 thrashing of Fuego. Well, he's had an interesting affair to manage. One in which there's been constant motion between the 18s, but things have really fizzled out once both sides have approached the penalty area. With the exception of the set piece for Knoxville moments ago, very little of note creatively. Haven't seen any tempers bubble over, but it has been a physical affair, no doubt. Both teams very aware of the implications in terms of playoff hopes and top 4 aspirations. JJ bashes it away, only as far as Haugley. This is Chrysler. Falls for Kempis Tequila. Laying it off, Johnson. Richie, darting it across. And it falls out of play for a Knoxville corner, their second of the half in rapid succession. Fans, this corner kick is brought to you by University Orthopedic Surgeons, the official orthopedic surgeons for One Knoxville SC. Kempis Tequila to take this in-swinger. Curls to the back post, headed along, loose still. And finally cleared out of danger by Oberton. Pierre was looking for the run of Oberton, and the younger Callum Johnson has won the foot race. Well, they've handled that second corner far better than the first. Knoxville nearly procuring the equalizer from the last set piece. Now 3 total corners in this match, but we get the sense this might pick up a bit. Correa, a heavy touch from Pierre and escorted comfortably into Lewis's palms. Didn't have an eventful first half by any means, but made many of the right decisions, and there was very little he could do on the opener. A series of deflections, and well, when Oberton puts that much steam on it, it is hard to get your gloves in the way on such short notice. Ritchie. In space now, isolated on Dimmick. Haugli. Calls for Johnson. He's looking through to Zarakostas. There's contact in the box, not enough to warrant any action from the official. And Oberton carries it free. Has support in the form of Shalom Duty. Took a deflection. And the referee says the final touch went off of Duty's boots. There's far more urgency exuding from this Knoxville side at the moment. Thomas. Johnson. Laid off well. Kempis Tequila took another deflection. A third corner in rapid succession for One Knox. This corner kick is brought to you by University Orthopedic Surgeons, the official orthopedic surgeons for One Knoxville SC. Tequila without swing this time. He's slowly getting target practice from scenarios like these. His first delivery was a peach. Decent delivery. Heads went up, and it appeared to take the final touch off One Knox. You're beginning to see the supporters get into it more. They understand the gravity of a match like this. 6-pointers towards the top of the league table, especially when you only play every other team twice. Makes the margin for error quite slim, especially in your home fixtures. But as things stand, their quest for the double over the Jacks is in line to be dashed emphatically tonight. Rapidly approaching 6 local time. Temperature still in the mid-70s on what is a picture-perfect day for footy in Knoxville. The fans have turned out recognizing that. Right now hoping for a few more fireworks going forward. Tequila. He would be the prime candidate to provide them. Castro. Haugli. Thomas. Cross deflected. Falls for Nelson Pierre. Some room to roam as well. An excellent challenge from Thomas. We've hit the hour mark here from Regal Soccer Stadium. Still a narrow cushion for Charlotte Independence, the league leaders, looking to solidify their vice grip on the Players' Shield race with the calendar turning to September. Zarakostas in space! Well, it drew Pack into action, and it required a pretty decent stop in the end. Another corner in the offing, Knoxville beginning to twist the screws. Zarakostas builds up plenty of runway here, and it draws at least an insurance palm for Pack. That may have been creeping in the near post. Corner kick is brought to you by University Orthopedic Surgeons, the official orthopedic surgeons for One Knoxville SC. Tequila with in-swing. Toward the back post. Headed on. Pack, an excellent stop. And somehow the rapid reflexes keeping Charlotte in front. Well, Pack beginning to get peppered and continuing to pass each test with flying colors. This was an excellent chance. It found the head of what looked to be Richie and ultimately headed it right at Pack. It was Fernandez who drew first contact. But Pack, the quick reflexes to make the stop and keeping Charlotte in front. You get the sense, though, that there will be a number of glaring chances for One Knox now before the match is done. A far cry from their first half effort. There has been a new layer of urgency throughout this side. It's been apparent since the restart. Fernandez. Haugli. A Knoxville side that has never been defeated by the Jacks in the 4 previous meetings. Tequila. It's won back by Oberton. And looking ahead to Pierre. Too close on Skelton. Tequila with room. It's still Kempis Tequila. Surging into a wall of white shirts. Njai in the shadows. Advantage played. This is Correa. Njai is still down. Dimmick. Hearing word 2 changes on both sides in the offing. And now they will return to the man down in Njai. We'll look at Njai, a man who's battled injuries throughout the last 2 seasons with Charlotte. And this is a very rough sight for the Jack supporters. In the meantime, 2 attack-minded swaps for One Knox. And a familiar bugaboo for Charlotte is getting set to enter. It is Frank Ross, a man who has scored 3 goals in 4 previous appearances against the Jacks. He will replace Stavros Zarakostas. Meanwhile, Angelo Kelly will replace Castro in a creative midfield role. So a double change. Kelly, of course, scoring the winner last time out. Ross scoring the opener against Charlotte in their first meeting. So a pair of players that found the back of the net at American Legion make their way on the pitch. Meanwhile, 2 changes as well for Charlotte. Tresor Mbuyu entering. He is a presence to watch, the top scorer the last 2 years. And Denzel Akyampong, the young defender from England, entering the fray as well. So those are your 4 changes. Akyempong, discovered in the local academy system in England, trialed with a bunch of sides during his youth days there. Meanwhile, Tresor Mbuyu, a man looking to rediscover the form that saw him light up the score sheets the last 2 years with Charlotte. It appears that he may lead the line if all breaks right. Akyempong, more of a winger and defender. The Fox Soccer Academy pro in England. Made a fair few appearances with Charlotte last year, although has been an infrequent feature so far in 2024. It's more defensive-minded for Charlotte. It appears Mike Jeffries is content with the 1 goal at the moment. And why wouldn't he be? They're in prime position to secure all 3 points. Here's Ross. Links with Richie. The Scotsman Ross. Won back by Akyempong. Here's Oberton, currently is leading the line. So Mbuyu in behind him as that creative number 10. We'll see how that impacts Mike Jeffries' strategy. Well, good to see Kelly back as well. Got off to such a fast start to this season. His role has bounced around considerably. He's played center mid, a defensive mid role, which is his natural role, but this year moving further up the pitch as well for Spurs. Tequila, navigating through traffic. And Ross ushering it wide. Richie's cross, charged out of trouble by Spielman. Only as far as Fernandez. Richie. Ross. It falls for Angelo Kelly. Lays it off. Thomas has a hit. Kelly was down just outside the area. The question is it a penalty or a set piece? The Charlotte players appealing, saying the contact occurred outside. We'll see what the referee's decision is. And I tell you what, that appears to be in the box. And if it is, that's a point to the spot. We've not seen a direct signal from the official yet, but that contact occurred mostly in the area. Ryan JJ the culprit. And I believe the referee has just directed action towards the spot. That he has. 1 Knoxville, a penalty kick with an opportunity to tie the game. After the contact on Kelly. Kempis Tequila standing over it. They're still debating things. But Tequila seems intent on it being a penalty. That it is. Ryan JJ is incensed by the explanation. Here's another look. Kelly's 2 feet in here. The back foot comes out, but the contact occurs inside. That is the criteria for a penalty. And a golden opportunity for Knoxville to equalize. Their top scorer, their talisman, Kempis Tequila, standing over this. A man who has scored in each of his last 2 league appearances. Now facing down the reigning goalkeeper of the year from 12 yards. A golden chance for Knoxville to climb level. Tequila against Pack. And Tequila converts. Knoxville level. And it is the star man up front again, coming up clutch in a big moment. A 9th goal of the year from Tequila, and no mistake. Opts for placement, just strokes it with the outside of his boot. And even though Pat guesses the right way, he's unable to get down in time. Just beyond his outstretched glove. And Kempis Tequila, the new addition, providing the equalizer. A man who spent last season in Luxembourg's top flight and scored 20 goals in 36 appearances, translating his elite goal-scoring form to USL League One, adding a 9th tally and a 10th in all competitions this year. Now has sole possession of second place in the league in terms of goals in the Golden Boot race. Sits 2 behind Obregon. And Charlotte's halftime advantage has been dashed. A German forward, Kempis Tequila, who has proven to be a revelation for a side that struggled to score goals so much throughout last year and the beginning of this one, has carried Knoxville going forward in big moments. In many respects, Ilya Illich's replacement, providing countless big moments up front for his now interim head coach. Well, game on then. It felt like the equalizer was coming. The pressure was mounting. But now Charlotte is in an awkward position where they don't have an out-and-out number 9 on the pitch. They may be forced to weather an oncoming storm here. Well, game on then. Joel Johnson will have a free kick for Charlotte. It feels like danger time for the Players' Shield leaders. That cross will not trouble anyone in a Knoxville kit. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Beyond the 70-minute mark, Kempis Tequila providing the equalizer from the spot after a somewhat controversial spot kick was awarded for the hosts. And just like that, the tide has flipped. A Knoxville side that carried the bout of momentum before Charlotte's opener now finds itself in a prime position to push on and potentially snatch a winner. And Buyu winning this back with other ideas. And nearly outwit Danny Fernandez. We wondered how Ilya Illich's squad would respond after falling behind for the first time under their new interim headman's tutelage. They have responded and displayed their resilience. And as things stand, have at least kept themselves in the hunt for the top seed in USL League One come playoff time. And even more importantly, continuing to keep the cushion intact between themselves and the playoff line. The team comfortably in the top 8 as things currently stand. Fernandez. Johnson. Knoxville unsurprisingly with the wind in their sails. Ross. That cross is far too tight on Pack. Well, not much he could have done. The penalty is by no means his responsibility. And he guessed the right way, but just unable to get to that far post in time. It was perfect placement from Tequila. It would have required something beyond spectacular to keep that out. Tequila's experience has proven so invaluable for this side. Someone who spent the entirety of his career before this season in Europe. We've mentioned his experience pummeling opposing defenses in Luxembourg's top flight, but also played in the Danish third tier. Has played as well in the Europa League qualifying round, so some of the highest levels of the European game he has hit. despite maybe not breaking into the Bundesliga in his native Germany. He did play in the Dortmund reserves for a time as well. So he knows the level he has to hit to excel. And he has carried that experience over to his last two destinations and emerged as one of the top goal scorers in both Luxembourg and now USL League One. Luxembourg, one of the smallest countries in Europe. I believe the wealthiest country in terms of GDP per capita in all of Europe as well. Inside the final quarter of an hour. Nothing to separate One Knox and Charlotte in this crucial tussle of top four sides. And the question now is, do we have a winner for either side on the cards? A game that was categorized by its caginess in the opening 45 minutes has opened up and become quite lively in the closing stages. Richie. Was a clever flick by Kelly, but it rolls routinely to Austin Pack. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. A makeshift hydration break for both sides as they head over to their respective coaching staffs. As things stand, we've seen both of the big players in full action. Gabriel Obertan opening the scoring, Kempis Tequila leveling it from the spot in the 70th. And that man, Austin Pack, having a brief kickabout, has made a number of key saves here in the second half that kept Charlotte in front at the time. But was unable to deny Tequila from the penalty spot moments ago. Charlotte readying a change. It will be Hugh Roberts who enters the action. He is going to replace Bashir Njai, and that is quite the defensive-minded change. They're bringing on another center back in exchange for their box-to-box midfielder in Njai. So the question now becomes, does that mean JJ moves up into that dual six position? Or will Roberts play that role, a man with countless years of USL Championship experience? He opened the season as Charlotte's regular starter, but fell out of the 11 in summertime, with JJ solidifying himself as a center back. Rapidly approaching the final 10 minutes here from Regal Soccer Stadium. Thomas. There is considerable promise from Knoxville going forward here in the second. It could very well finish at one apiece, given Charlotte's emphasis on defensive solidity at the moment. But Knoxville could push on and snag a winner, and has the feeling like they could procure something. Here's the goal scorer, Tequila. Darting inside. Thomas. Ross on the overlap. And into the penalty area. Johnson bashed away by Roberts, only as far as Haugley. And the initial deflection took the steam out of it. Knoxville is readying one more change. Hearing word Gio Calixtro is getting set to enter for what would be James Thomas. That's a very attack-minded change. They will make it right now. The young man who is more known for his attacking prowess, replacing the defensive-minded wing-back in Thomas. Knoxville is well and truly chasing this. A 24-year-old out of Cornelius, Oregon, who spent countless time in the Timbers Academy, played in the USL Championship with Timbers too. He became the youngest player in second division history to bag a brace. Came in 2019 against LA Galaxy 2. Back then, of course, 19 years of age. He's been a regular in USL League One since joining Tucson a few years back. Ilya Ilic is definitely chasing the 3 points, especially with the way the pendulum has swung these last 15 or so minutes. And Buyu unable to unlock himself from Jalen Chrysler. And this is Kelly, the man that won the equalizing penalty. Haugley. Get your look at Charlotte's shape, and the mission is clear. The primary emphasis is coming away with a point today. Fernandez, and this is Stuart Ritchie. Low cross, one that is charged away by JJ, and falls briefly to Oberton, who is fouled in the process. Charlotte team that still has not beaten Knoxville in the first 4 meetings dating back to the start of last year. A Knoxville team that became an entity in 2022 with the intention of working their way up to the pro ranks. They played in USL League Two in their inaugural campaign. They decided they were ready after a year, made the jump to USL League One last year, and last season, despite some promise, fell just short of the postseason. 5 points off playoff pace in the end. They find themselves nestled in the top 4 at the moment with a real chance to push on and secure a home playoff match. Oberton is still down in the area after the contact around the box. And coming together between himself and that 3-man Knoxville back line. Goes over the head, and see Chrysler and Fernandez both cross him. It is Fernandez who ultimately dropped him to the deck. And Oberton is back to his feet. Seems content to continue, although a bit frustrated there was no whistle during that coming together. Still all hangs in the balance here from Knoxville. Rapidly strolling to the final 5 minutes. Haugley. There is a clear infusion of energy in this Knoxville side since the equalizer. And the fresh legs also do the trick. Ritchie. Chrysler. wide for Ritchie again. One of the top chance creators in the league, the joint second most. Progressive ball forward. It was towards Kelly and read brilliantly by Nick Spielman. Fielded well by Obertan. And unleashing Mbuyu in plenty of space with plenty of pace. Back for Obertan! And somehow off the inside of the post and out. One kiss off the post, and it breaks, unfortunately, for the Frenchman. It was a great cutback, a five-star counter, what Charlotte is known for. Obertan kissing it off the inside of the post, but somehow staying out of the net. Knoxville living to fight another day. And how will that chance be looked back upon after we finish these 90 minutes? Was that the chance for Charlotte to complete the smash and grab? Ritchie. Ross. Kelly. Fernandez. Ritchie crosses. Kelly! He nearly procured the spectacular. It was audacious, but it nearly found the bottom right corner. Very inventive from Kelly. And just whistling it beyond the far post. Well, that would have been his surefire goal of the week had it found its way in. But still clear energy from Knoxville. And as things stand, Knoxville will no doubt be rooting for more minutes on the fourth official's board. Charlotte is hanging on by a thread at the moment. Here's Kelly. Has changed this match for Knoxville. Calixtro. Runs into a thicket of white shirts and commits a foul in the end of it. Trotted upon Mbuyu and booked for his troubles. You can't fault him for chasing after it. But that challenge a bit overly aggressive. Just steps right on Omar Sis. One of the first Knoxville men in the book tonight. It's been a relatively clean match between the two sides. We rapidly approach the final minute of the 90. A key defensive midfield cog in Omar Sis is still prone on the deck. A 23-year-old out of Dakar, Senegal, who has been a frequent feature in the 11 the last 3 seasons. Scored the goal of the year 2 years ago. Came in the Dogwood Derby against North Carolina FC, and good to see that he appears content to keep going. Gingerly trying to walk off the knock. And finally, good to continue.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 6 minutes of
6 minutes of added time.
University Family Physician Sports Medicine Prep. Your
Fans, the referees indicated a minimum of 6 minutes of stoppage time presented by University Family Physicians, your experts in primary care in East Tennessee. Well, unsurprisingly, the minutes are more than less. A fair few stoppages in the second half. And Buyu losing it out of play. Fans, eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Into stoppage time. Does Knoxville have late magic in the tank? Or will we end it in a stalemate? Richie. A swath of purple shirts right around the penalty area. Haugley, Ross, Calixtro in space. It was rising, but never dipped. Austin Pack will be in no rush to take these goal kicks from here on out. Decent interplay on the edge of the area. Ross laying it off to Calixtro, who has a pop. He hit it sweetly. Also may have contacted a few cars in the process. Oberton. It's one back by Richie, and he may have taken some late contact in the process. Oberton booked for his troubles. A late challenge, and he pays the price. A 50-50, and he doesn't quite pull out of it after Richie wins the foot race. Immediately apologetic afterwards, though. Knoxville thrusting numbers forward at this stage. Trying to pull themselves into the top two of the USL League One table. As things stand, they'll leap one place to third. Fernandez. Knoxville has won it in stoppage time once this year. Came against Hailstorm on July 13th. Kempis Tequila was the man who provided the stoppage time winner. They throw it back to 2 months ago. Chrysler. Calixtro. This is Haugley. Patience from one Knox. Kelly, the game breaker that won the game tying penalty. Haugley, escorting it along to Fernandez. This is Richie. A loose pass towards Haugley, one that is cleared only as far as Skelton. Just 2 minutes of added time remain. It will be a non-stop onslaught from Knoxville from here on out. A siege, if you will. Haugley. Comes wide to Calixtro. Looking to carve out a cross. Still loose and wins his side of corner. It will be Tequila to take. This corner kick is brought to you by University Orthopedic Surgeons, the official orthopedic surgeons for One Knoxville SC. Is there a late winner on the cards? Perhaps one final set piece for One Knox. Into the final minute of stoppage time. Tequila with in-swing. Comes to the back post. Charged away into the path of Mbuyu. And bashing it out of trouble. Was that Knoxville's last act? Or is there one more final twist on the cards? Johnson. Kelly. Comes for Ross. Just runs out of space on the far side. Chrysler. It is all at the referee's discretion at this point. Cross comes in towards Kelly. Still loose. And finally cleared away. And that is where we finish our 90 minutes. It was a valiant effort from One Knox. They clawed their way back into the match in the second half, but the spoils are shared between a pair of top four foes tonight. Oberton opening the scoring in the 42nd minute. Tequila leveling it in the 70th minute. And fans, it is now time for your Alliance Brewing man of the match. It is Kempis Tequila who bagged the game-tying penalty after Angelo Kelly won the spot kick. From there, Tequila buried it to level the score in the 70th and salvage a point for One Knox here tonight. The man of the match presented by Alliance Brewing, the league's second leading scorer, adding a 9th to his name this season. That is where things finish after 90 minutes. A 1-1 draw here in Knoxville. We will step aside when we come back and look at the 90 minutes that just transpired here from Regal Soccer Stadium.
Dad, what was it like before KUB Fiber?
Well, there was fiber internet, but it wasn't always fast. If you wanted to download a game or a movie, you just have to wait for it.
Wait for it?
Honey, you're scaring him.
Say goodbye to waiting and say hello to KUB Fiber. True gig speed for just $65 a month. It's the world's fastest internet, right here in East Tennessee. Only from KUB.
Backyard staycations begin with Earthadelic, transforming outdoor spaces into your own relaxing oasis. From custom design to superior installation, our team is dedicated to providing the highest level of quality and craftsmanship with every one-of-a-kind project. Earthadelic offers stunning, resort-worthy outdoor living that will be uniquely suited for your home, delivering a complete turnkey work of art in your backyard. Earthadelic, surpassing expectations and creating the outdoor paradise you've always dreamed of. Contact us today to schedule your consultation.
Back here in Knoxville, after a relatively cagey affair, it ends all even at 1 goal apiece. A Charlotte team that struggled to break down Knoxville, a Knoxville team that had chances to win it late. Let's take a look at the 90 minutes that just transpired here from Regal Soccer Stadium. It got off to a flying start for Charlotte. A couple of half chances here and there, and then the opener comes. This cross deflected, it falls for Gabriel Oberton, and at the second time of asking, a thunderbolt that clatters into the back of the net. No chance for Sean Lewis, and that put Charlotte in front. Then Knoxville began to twist the screws in the second half. They came out with far more urgency, and here in the 47th minute, James Thomas testing Austin Pack for the first proper time of the night. Pack was even to it and stopping it at the near post. Then in the 51st, Knoxville winning their first corner, and from that action, this cross somehow finds its way into the vicinity and nearly found its way over the line. But the equalizer would eventually come. Angelo Kelly going down in the area after this physical challenge from Ryan JJ. The referee says the contact was in the box. Kempis Tequila steps up and buries it in the bottom left and levels the scoreline for the hosts. It was a deserved equalizer. Tequila scoring his 9th of the season, and then there were late chances for both sides. This the biggest one, though, for Charlotte. Their only real chance in the last 10 minutes, Gabriel Obertan kissing it off of the near post, and somehow it doesn't cross the line. Now to look at the full-time stats, and well, they tell you the full story. Knoxville, 16-7 shots advantage, 63% of the ball, and remember, they had the bulk of the possession, especially in the second half when they were chasing the game. Interestingly enough about Charlotte, that 7-shot tally is their lowest of the year. They're no stranger to playing out of possession, as they have done here tonight. They are a stranger to not creating on the counter. They did that very little tonight. It's why Knoxville was likely the more sharp of the two sides throughout the 90 minutes. Well, that is where things finish. Here from Knoxville tonight, two teams in the top 4 share the spoils. Charlotte maintains sole possession of the #1 spot in USL League One. Knoxville climbing to 3rd after its draw. We thank you for joining us. I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long from Knoxville, where it finishes Knoxville 1, Charlotte 1. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. From Knoxville, signing off.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.